Great to hear from Nisqy, and also great to be joined by a new caster on the caster desk today. It is the flying Finn himself from Sweden. It's Finn.
It's me. I hope I won't fly away from here, but I'm very excited to talk about some League of Legends on the cast. I think we have a great day in front of us. A lot of exciting games.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, we're doing the first best of 3. I will say, Finn, your microphone is a tad close to your lips right now. I should have warned you about it beforehand. Well, let's mute you while you do that. Okay, excellent.
That's a rookie mistake.
It is a rookie mistake, but you are a rookie. Unlike most of the players coming out here onto the LEC stage, obviously,
Nisqy is technically a rookie.
Kind of a rookie support, we'll give that one. As GIANTX, after losing yesterday to Fnatic, being in a winning position in Game 2, are trying to bounce back. It's the first time we've seen Vitality here in spring, and the question on everyone's lips is, will the Nisqy gamble pay off?
Yeah, it's very exciting to see. I wonder what kind of support style he's looking to bring to the league. I wonder if we're gonna like to integrate this mid lane champion pool into the league, or if it's gonna be mostly on the engaged supports, because we have known him as this kind of jungle whisperer when he was a mid laner, and I wonder if he can do the same thing as a support.
I mean, those are the two roles really that have the most synergy with the jungle, right? Mid lane and support. So we'll see how much Nisqy can do. Talking about champion pool, I doubt we'll see things like the Twisted Fate or the Rise going out from Nisqy, but maybe we'll see him on things that can get out of that lane a little bit easier. Rakan, very good at doing that. Nautilus as well, especially if Carzzy's on something like the Ezreal that can just play safe in the lane.
Yeah, I think especially when you role swap to support from mid lane, it's easy to focus on champions that all play in a similar manner. You don't want to go down there and learn a lot of different champions. It's good if you can only focus on engage. You're going to see the Rel, Alistar, Nautilus, Rakan, all those champions I think is what is most likely to come out this first game.
I also think that's the kind of disparity between how you would usually play mid lane and how you play support is engage, right? Mid laners tend to be, I'll sit back, let someone else engage for me, and then I'll go forward and actually do damage from the back lines, whereas support tends to be a little bit more on the front foot. We are into draft for Game 1 of this best of 3. Live patch, Fearless draft, Gwen and Naafiri already taken away by GIANTX.
Yeah, those kind of are the two Exodia champions on the patch, as we've seen in LPL. The Gwen and Naafiri is very, very, very popular all around the world right now, and it's responding with Kalista and Yone, which is a bit weird, because usually you don't see a lot of AD carry bans, but I wonder if we're setting up for something early, like an early Azir. Very popular for Jackys and Czajek, and Champion is very contested from both them.
Yeah, we did see GIANTX actually first picking the Azir yesterday against Fnatic in Game 2, if I remember correctly. The Kalista was banned out in every game of that series as well. So does seem to be like something that just in the LEC at the moment is a high priority pick, probably tearing through scrims as Kalista often does.
Yeah, another thing in LEC that's very popular though is these engaged junglers. We have the Maokai, Vi, and Sejuani, and Skarner all up and available. So I imagine we're going to see some kind of sort of trade regarding that. Both Isma and Lyncas being very, very comfortable on these champions.
So what side of the trade would you take? You're GIANTX, what's your B1?
I mean, there is this Exodia champion. He's been very popular for a long time now, and he keeps avoiding the spotlight, even though he keeps getting nerfed. It's the first big Skarner coming out for a lot.
Yeah, it seems like just what he does is really strong, right? The Impale is really powerful. He's got good enough jungle clear, the ability to gank and only really have the E connect with tower aggro when you actually hit them into the wall. It's just so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can nerf his numbers, you can nerf his CDs, but he still has all that CC locked into his kit. And we actually get the response with the Varus, which I talked about earlier, is the strongest AD carry lane-wise on the patch, and the Pantheon, which is a bit unorthodox to pick this early in the draft.
Yeah, but it's flashbacks for GIANTX 2 yesterday against Fnatic when it was that Pantheon from Razork that was able to help pick them up the win. The Varus 3-0 so far in the LEC definitely seems like the strongest AD carry on the patch, as you said, Finn. So GIANTX here likely to answer with their AD carry and mid. Could look for top and then into bans, but with R3 still available for Vitality, they could always answer that top lane pick.
Yeah, and Taliyah is a great takeaway, not only from Czajek being very comfortable on champion, but also together with the Pantheon, having that easy CC setup together with the seismic shove makes it very easy in that mid-jungle 2v2, alongside both of them having globals. A lot of great synergy there, so I think that's mostly a takeaway pick from GIANTX, and picking up the Ezreal next to that, which is just a really good, safe AD carry in lane that does well against the Varus.
Yeah, Jackie's actually felt the pain of the combination of Taliyah and Pantheon yesterday. Level 3 gank, or level 4 gank mid, flashed over the wall into the stun, into the seismic shove, can be very, very deadly. Ezreal is the lock for Noah, so he's going to be playing a relatively safe AD carry down towards the bottom side. I will say Jun yesterday underperformed compared to expectations, so the hope is today he can have a little bit more of a showing.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice when you're Nisqy coming in today and you have already data on Jun yesterday, seeing how he performed not the best of his capabilities. We know he's been a very good support in the league for a long time, but Nisqy going up against him. Czajek taking the Azir crucially, which is a really good answer into the Taliyah. Usually that matchup goes a bit both ways, but it's just a really, really solid comfort pick. He's most played in winter as well.
Yeah, it also just gives you a lot of range later on in the game, right? You put the soldiers down, you can poke people out as they try and get into choke points. Now we have the Poppy ban coming out from Vitality. Wonder if that indicates they're going to look towards something like a Rakan in the support role. Obviously, Rel already taken away as well, but Poppy just good into Azir, good into Pantheon as well. Maybe even Ambessa, which has been left up so far, a top lane possibility for Vitality.
Yeah, crucial, they will have to pick their blind pick on 4 here, so setting up for that, we're seeing 2 bans. Poppy could technically go both roles, but usually you ban Poppy, you ban Braum. I'm thinking Rel, which they responded to, but now there's still the Alistar and the Nautilus, because I think you really want to secure an engage spot for Nisqy, because you don't want to put him out of comfort on his first ever game.
Yeah, but also, if we put him on Nautilus, is it the Nautilus Infund game that we see? Like, Hylissang was very good at those games. Has Nisqy picked up some tricks from the creating space master himself, Hylissang? There's the Nautilus ban. So the question is it Alistar? Is it something like Rakan as well? Not as tanky as perhaps you'd want it to be.
Yeah, what you could do here now, because there are so many support bans, is you actually just tell your top laner, there's so many support picks out, can you please pick top laner on 4 here, and then I'm going to get a really good counter pick. So I think that would be a good adaptation. Taking something like the Ambessa or something like that, because your pop is already out, and then Nisqy gets that last pick, we can do a lot.
I agree with that. I think if Nisqy was a more practiced support, I would err towards that. The question is, can Nisqy actually utilize a counter-pick support as well as a support that's played for more than a month?
Yeah, probably not in your first ever LEC game, as it goes for the Alistar, which is just the best engage support that's left in the pool. Most of the engage supports are out, and now if GX wants to respond to an engage, I think there's only really Rakan left that you want to answer with. Yesterday we saw Rakan doing really well with Ezreal, because you get that dash from a long range, and just the safety of Ezreal makes him be very available to move around on the map.
Yeah. So we'll see how much Jun can do on that Rakan. It looks like it's going to be a blind Jax for Lot on the top side. He tweeted yesterday after the series that he had a really bad series himself as well. And I think most people on review of the games would agree with his assessment. We'll see if he can bounce back today alongside Jun with the Jax going to be locked in. What would you, if you are Naak right now, what are you saying, Finn? What are you calling?
Gragas is a classic answer into the Jax, has that body slam to negate him. I thought we were going to see the TF. I think that's a meme hover from Nisqy. But Gragas, if you want like some kind of neutralizer, if you really want to beat him and take the fight to him in lane, Jace is a great pick, because you can knock him out with a melee E and then just kind of keep him in range all the time. So I think it depends what kind of you're looking for right now. I mean,
for the draft, I really like Jace because of how much range you have, right? You have Azir poke, you have Varus poke, you have Jace poke. Instead, they've gone for the Gnar. What do you think Gnar actually really gives them here as opposed to going for something like the Gragas or Jace?
I think what Gnar is good at, he's an AD champion because you don't want double AP with the Azir, and he's kind of self-sufficient because when you pick a Jace, you really want to help him, but Gnar can kind of do fine. Jax will be pushing out the Gnar early because of how strong the counter-strike is in the early laning phase, so this is going to take a little bit more time for him to activate.
Okay, we'll have a look at that top lane as we get on into the game. Obviously, you want to pick your brain about that as much as possible, and pick my brain about good puns or something, I guess.
There's a Rakan there. I know you're a Rakan connoisseur.
I used to be really good at Rakan, and then I left the game for a while, and now I have a negative win rate on him in, like, Master, which is... That feels bad to me these days, which is a weird thing to say.
That will do it. I really like GX comp though. I think they have a really good mix of everything you kind of want in a comp. If you have like a checklist, you want to check out everything. They kind of feel all that. They have the range, the engage, the kite back. Meanwhile, Vitality, I think they're very into this long range with the Azir and the Varus, and they really want to keep GX at range. They don't want to let them get too close.
It feels like when you have a composition like that that pokes so well, if you do fall behind in the early game, it can become really hard to enact your strategy because your poke doesn't actually do as much as you'd like it to do, right?
Yeah.
If Vitality get ahead in the early game, a couple of thousand, get towards those second items quicker, then the poke really comes online. It can be very deadly to have to play against. So we're going to get into the first game of day 2 here of Spring, though. GIANTX trying to bounce back from losing yesterday to Fnatic, whereas Vitality, their new look support, are taking to the Rift for the first time this split.
There is a new look on the sport, and we have the Varus with a lethal tempo actually, which kind of tells me he wants to play a lot more aggressive. Because when you think about Varus with the Comet, he's playing at range, he's poking down and using his cooldowns more. But when you have lethal tempo, you really want to walk up and out-attack, because you need to leverage your attack speed to actually make damage. And we have a pause, very fast.
I'm just getting you into the caster mentality, man. This is what happens. Sometimes pauses happen. It was Isma who paused, and you can see him pointing maybe at a screen, maybe at a light or something that is bothering him. And we'll have league officials investigating that as quickly as possible. Obviously, want everyone to be as comfortable as possible in their seats, ready to go. With how he was pointing, I'm expecting it to be less of a my runes are wrong issue, which really, let's be honest, we're 37 seconds into the game. If you haven't noticed by now, you are struggling a little bit, but might be a light or something.
Yeah, it's usually like, oh, my share doesn't work properly. Oh, I can't hear my support. It's usually this.
It's like, my chair doesn't. Is this a complaint you've had while playing?
My teammates have been very vocal about their chair.
My chair doesn't work properly. What does it need to do other than let you sit in it?
No, Mark Kuhn, he would be like, he would pause the game and then he would tell me we need to switch chairs, Finn. Because I could sit on any chair, but he was very, very adamant about his chair being bad. Okay. So he gave it to me because I'm a top laner. I'm the less valuable position on the map. Because he's a jungler, obviously he needs the better chair.
I mean, that does make sense.
Yeah. That was his reasoning. I think there's a little bit of gaslighting there, but I don't know.
I mean, until you have a proper gamer chair, your numbers are just going to be worse. You do like 5 less damage per auto attack. You can't smite as well. Yeah. It's
very easy for junglers to blame their smites on something. There's a lot of demons in their head, I think.
Yeah. As opposed to top laners who are known as the most level-headed people in the world.
Yeah, I would say so. Speaking from experience, I can't think of a single top laner that would be so emotional as to like smash a wall or something or anything like that. Break their hand, we don't do that. We're very, very stoic. Stoic top laners.
I think the thing with top laners is, especially in solo queue, and obviously that's where most of my experience is built from, you see
my condolences.
You see them and they're like 0-0-1 in a 20-kill game, and you won't have heard a single word from them for the entirety of the game. But they're there, and they're that meme, you know, the guy who's sweating and you can just hear all the keyboard noises? It's like, brrr. They're sweating for their lives in this 1v1. No one has noticed that they exist on the Rift.
Yeah. Sometimes they just show up in the game and you're like, oh wait, we have a Nasus. He has like 20 stacks with the Trinity Force. Just comes a one-shot on with a bonk. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think top laners in general, I think Nuguri said it, that a top laner has to be a little bit a screw loose somewhere to be a good top laner, because you can't actually choose this role and be level-headed, because you gotta be able to push your limits and you gotta be able to fight even though you know you die.
Yeah. That makes sense, and like Baus has shown us that mentality is the right mentality, you know?
That's true, he was very successful.
Yeah, we had one European winner of an international tournament over the off-season. It wasn't KC, it was Los Ratones. Yes, it was only a European
technically it's international.
Technically it's international.
Okay. I mean, technicality will get you far, that's true.
That's what I like doing. We do have ready checks going through in the client, so everything hopefully will be ready in just a second. Noah was saying he misses Nisqy playing mid lane because he would just TP to the tier 2. And I assume that's Flame.
We will assume that. As we look top lane here, actually, Alistar is looking to put a ward for his top laner in that bush. And this is going to help Gnar a lot, because usually when you play a melee champion into range champions, these bushes are a little bit of a sanctuary because they can't actually auto-attack you. So what Lot will do is going to walk up, hit the minion, and then walk into the bush. But now, that bush is already warded, and that means Naak can keep out-attacking him and keep pressuring him in the early game. So very nice by Nisqy to give that extra little bit of help to Naak and already feeling his impact on the map.
Yeah, it's when you're playing that ranged into melee matchup that you really want to have that extra ward in there. It means that Naak can use the ward in a further along bush in the lane if he wants, or even in his own pixel bush to make sure that he is defended. We did see a ward coming in from Isma to try and spot out the Razorbeaks. He'll know exactly where Lyncas is starting. Lot is going to go into the second bush here, but pinged out immediately as Naak is on his way. So with that extra ward, do you think it becomes a more winning lane for the Gnar early game, or do you think it's going to be still that struggling till level 3, level 4 with the counter-strike?
I mean, it might help. This is going to give him, like, in the end, maybe 2-3 more auto-attacks on the Jax, and if that's going to make a difference, it depends a lot on how they're both playing, if they're playing well. Here you see Naak actually have a double ward setup. He has the wards in both of those bushes. It makes it very easy for him to hit Lot whenever he walks up.
It does for the moment, though. Our eyes are on the bot lane as Jun using that Gleaming Quill early just to get the extra sustain. Since they buffed that, much more powerful for the Rakan. Using the Guardian as well. Nisqy did go in with the Pulverize, but Noah and Jun just playing aggressively, forcing Carzzy and Nisqy to take a little bit of a back foot. In terms of CS, relatively even between the two of them, but Noah and Jun will get that level 2 first.
Yeah, and here you're going to see Naak actually look to hold this wave in front of his tower, at least the casters, because that way the Jax can't jump on him. When the wave is like this, Jax can never jump in because it's going to take a tower shot. So this is a really good wave position by Naak, and I think that comes from the early wards, being able to have a little bit more agency in the lane, which usually is Jax favored.
Really good play from Vitality, put Naak in an okay position. Still struggling a little bit, as you say, because of the Jax favored side of the matchup. Lot jumps in, takes a tower shot, and that's why it's Jax favored. Immediately counter strikes when the auto attacks come in. Naak won't be able to hold this wave, doesn't have that Mega Gnar coming in, so didn't want to use his health as a resource there.
Yeah, the goal usually in this matchup is to actually get to those ninja tab-eye, because then when Jax walks, jumps on...
Sorry, do you mean plated steel caps?
Plated steel caps, I'm so sorry. Plated steel caps. Because then when Jax jumps on you, you can jump on his skull and then kind of space him with that extra movement speed and then get the trade back damage, which is really crucial. But before that, the Jax is really easy. You'll see him shine up his E and then jump, because then when he's jumping, he can instantly reactivate the E.
Yep, and that's what we see exactly from Laure. Good play so far from him. I would say GIANTX yesterday did have a bit of a struggle of a game, and Guillaume actually, before week 1, actually came out with a quote on the GIANTX socials saying it's a long split in our preparation before week 1 was late and not ideal. We expect to ramp up later on in the season. Obviously, we have a 7-week-long regular season here. Every team plays every other team once in a best-of-3 match, so you do have a little bit more time to ramp up than we usually would, but for GIANTX, and for their fans, you really want that ramp up to be as rapid as possible.
Yeah, and I would think it's referring to the fact that the Isma was actually playing on KC Academy in the Master, so he was actually busy and he couldn't actually stream with GX at the time. Doesn't mean that Isma didn't practice at all, but just not at that team level.
Isma already ganking mid lane, forcing Czajek to flash away. Jackie's was coming in with the teleport, and Czajek was thinking, well, I can get this wave in before that TP lands, but Isma in the right position at the right time for that first gank. Jumping in the bot lane, but Nisqy is an Alistar, right? You have that Triumph from Raw, you have all of the extra healing as well when those minions die in the lane.
I think I've seen a lot of fighting bot, a lot of skills being used, but the health bars are not moving at all. They're all still at full HP. The Rakan will jump in, and the Alistar is gonna heal, he's gonna heal, and he's gonna jump out. And yeah, but Vitality does have that wave push, and they have the agency right now. They can kind of do what they want. Probably what they will do is they will look for an early base and either use that tempo to get up for grubs or like to secure an early Drake, depending on what Lyncas' idea of the game should be.
Yeah, grub spawn in a minute's time, as you say, 5 seconds before the dragon. There's a little bit of vision there for Vitality. They've got that scuttle crab, but we saw yesterday actually a lot more dragon stacking than grub stacking. It felt like people would go for dragon and the enemy team would get the grubs as a response, but the first priority seemed to be dragon for most teams.
Yeah, especially now because Baron spawns so much later. When that 4th dragon comes up, there's no longer the option to trade Baron for dragon, because the dragon is already, like the soul point is already spawning before Baron is up. And usually that was a crucial position to be in as a team that had no dragons, but now getting those early dragons just gives you so much options in the mid to late game.
Also means we're starting to see like elder fights at the 35-minute mark or the 30-minute mark. It can be very, very early. Jun here will be able to just battle dance his way back to Noah. Carzzy stayed around in the lane, maybe just looking for that first part of an item.
And I want to allow you to put your eyes on the Alistar. Nisqy is already on the map, looking to do something. He's looking to move up towards topside here together with Lyncas, and I'm very happy to see that he's not so glued towards his lane, because a lot of supporters are so comfortable staying bot, but Nisqy already together with Lyncas, as we wanted to see, already looking to do these grubs.
Yeah, you talked about him being the jungle whisperer when he was a mid laner. This is what you want to see from Nisqy, teaming up with Lyncas early on, making sure that he's out on the map first. Carzzy actually staying around in bot lane that little bit longer, messed up GIANTX's tempo a little bit, so you can see Jun only just coming past that mid tier 2. First grub secured for Vitality, but Isma and Laure are here to challenge. Second one going over to Vitality as well. In the end, it won't be a feat from this, but Vitality get 2 of 3.
Yeah, I mean, crucial Nato didn't have his mega form in these fights, because if Gnar's mega there, he can actually look to fight that, but because he was so far from his mega, they kind of had to concede that area, because what is Gnar going to do? He's going to hit you a few times compared to Jax and the Skarner when they're so strong in these early fights.
Yeah, Nato had also used his ultimate in the lane, so even if he had the mega Gnar, it's like, well, what are you even going to do with that? You can wallop us a little bit.
Yeah, so in the end, Nisqy was first, but in the end, GX actually got one of them, so it's decent trade. What we're gonna see now is the dragon that's probably gonna be on both their minds, as Isma is walking into Lyncas' face here.
It's all as lonesome. Lyncas doesn't quite get that small frog, can start to walk away from his, but there's the Impale as well. But with the Weaver's Wall coming in, immediately is a 2v1. Lyncas puts up the shield, trying to survive, will flash back into the bush. Czajek with a great Emperor's Divide keeps Lyncas alive. He'll lose his Razor Beaks, but he keeps his life.
Oh, the burn almost getting him with that extra little tick from Skarner. Barely gets out with his life there. But in the end, Isma's gonna be happy. He's gonna get his chicken nuggets, he's gonna get his bramble back, he's gonna have a field day in Lyncas' topside jungle here.
We'll be able to get ahead in terms of CS and deny some from that Pantheon as well. You can see no cams up for Lyncas on the bottom side of the map. Nisqy's looking towards mid here. Jackie's with no mana as well. Can't put down the Unraveled Earth. and Jackies realizes he is done for. Flashes across the wall, actually might be able to get away. I spoke a little bit too eagerly, but with the Grand Starfall coming in, Jackies is just delaying the inevitable. A spear from Lyncas finds the heart of Jackies. Isma going for the gank in the top lane as well as Nato flashes away. Isma will get it with the aftershock proc. In the end, a 1-for-1.
And who knows how to gank mid lane better than a mid laner himself. Nisqy comes up, gets the first blood for his team, setting up that kill onto Jack is very well done. Nato will fall though, because Isma, as we said previously, was in the topside jungle. Very easy when that Gnar is a minute to just dive him. The Skarner goes in with the E and just easily kills the guy for his Jacks. Very happy times.
Have another look at this mid lane play. Jackie's very low on mana, doesn't have enough for the Unraveled Earth.
Yeah, crucial Nisqy realizes that if he walks up and combos Jackies, he will just flash the headbutt pulverize. But if he flashes and then does the combo, then he doesn't have the reaction time to pull it off. So really well played by Nisqy, making sure that Jackies has no way to get out of the situation.
And then we see Isma following up for that dive. As you said, it's just about the fact that Nako's mini. You can flash away, but Lot can tank a few tower shots. Isma could have tanked a few more.
Nice, brother. Good job. Pantheon is sprinting top. Pantheon is sprinting top.
Says it's a good job overall, and then calls out that Pantheon is on his way topside. Now down towards the bottom side, looking for their first dragon of the game. A little bit later than we saw yesterday, but the question is, can Isma do something here? Can he steal? Jun just ticked over to level 6. They were waiting for that down towards the bottom side. Lyncas will get the smite. And Jun, oh, he pops the quickness into the Impale. They're going for Nisqy. He's only 5 still. True Shot Barrage will connect. Nisqy has no flash and he's knocked back. Noah takes the kill.
Yeah, sneaky ward put by Jun actually manages to scout out that dragon being done. So even though they were late on the dragon, it's very hard to outsmite the Pantheon with the Q, execute, and the smite. But in the end, they get a little bit of trade back and we get a
good flash from Czajek, and immediately Jun knocked under the tower. Can't dance his way out of that one. Lot flashes in. Grandmaster's might, the ultimate pops as well as he tries to kill off Nato underneath the tower, looking for that empower. Does he have enough? He does. Lot with a solo kill.
Yeah, he's just such a big item that he has the Sheen already ended Ninja Tabi, so despite not rushing Ninja Tabi, he matched that, being able to match his movement speed and actually run him down in that lane. If you go for those components that is like the Phage and the Sheen, you actually will not be able to chase him down there, so very good itemization by Lot, helping him in the 1v1.
Smart move all around by Lot. Nisqy still only level 5 here. Really wants that unbreakable will, because he's on the wrong side of a Weaver's wall, gonna get knocked up by Jun. Unraveled Earth coming down as well. Nisqy, I mean, he's sidestepping as much as he wants, but there's nowhere for him to go. Turned into beef burgers. Jackies gets his first of the game.
I think he was creating some space there, looking for something to do. I don't know what the name tag is right now, but it's giving Hylissang energy. Vitality should be in their comfort zone regarding that, and here Lyncas wants to get a little piece of these grubs. Looks like Isma is gonna leave him and give him a grub burger just to satisfy him.
I mean, if Lyncas gets both of these, that is might spawning as well for Vitality, because they got 2 of the first ones, right? So 4 grubs in total for Vitality at the cost of Nisqy's life. Maybe you take that. Nako's going to be able to get a plate in the top lane as well. He was looking for 2, but the Demolish not quite strong enough yet.
Yeah. And crucially, GX has moved their bot lane up to the top side here to try to stop this Gnar from being able to hit his tower. And they're going to put Czajek against Lot, trying to stop the Jax from beating up the Gnar.
Flashing forward. Chain of Corruption was used as well. There's not going to be enough damage even with the piercing arrow. Carzzy can't quite get in range with a hail of arrows. Lot is a bodyguard, and you can see Carzzy there just trying to get the tip of it onto Jackies. But 200 health enough for Jackies to survive. Lot can jump the wall.
Yeah, and GX here, they're all looking to base because they want to secure the lane advantage, the lane assignments that they want. They want the Jax to be against the Gnar. The Jax solo kill the Gnar, and they really want to make sure that Gnar can't run away and farm against something like a Taliyah or the Ezreal, because then Gnar, once he gets his one item, he will actually be able to contest to the Jax. But right now, the Jax really wants to leverage that item advantage.
1,000 gold lead for GIANTX at the 12-minute mark. Nisqy still struggling to get towards that level 6, and you're seeing something that does often happen with supports when they're newer to the role, which is Nisqy is kind of being pulled in multiple directions and never actually being in the spot to collect experience. So he was towards the grubs, died there, then came out, went down towards the bottom side, didn't die there, but didn't really get anything there. Even now, only just in range to get that level 6 off the minions dying underneath the tower. Impale going down onto Lyncas. He's going to dash forward. Nisqy goes onto Jun. That's not really the target that you want. Nisqy will get a stun. And Isma is locked up, but Isma very tanky right now. And In the end, much ado about nothing in the river, as nothing major was burnt.
Yeah, Isma is kind of at that point where he can just walk in and not really be afraid of dying, so he can just try to take as much deep vision as he wants, try to take more space in Vitality's jungle, try to create some kind of deep vision setup with the wards, or just put pressure on Lyncas, making sure he can't farm his camps in peace. Here, Laure looking for a trade onto Nato, but Nato, despite being down gold and despite dying earlier, is doing really well in this matchup.
Yeah, he's having a really good time in terms of CS at least. And as you say, winning out on this sequence of trades. It's always a little bit difficult when you're watching as a spectator because we were watching the bot side action. Maybe it was just one bad trade from Lot that gave Nato disadvantage. Maybe it was someone being up here for a little while. GIANTX playing around the bot side with Jun and Jackies, but you can see Isma actually working his way up towards Nato. Doesn't have that Impale, is spotted on a ward. Lyncas waiting around the corner, Narm into the wall. Nato should be able to walk his way away.
Yeah, very ambitious by Isma to go for that. I don't really see how that ever works out. I think he was probably better off doing his camps and then setting up bot side for the Drake. But in the end, Lyncas stayed around and also wasted his time, so it's a neutral kind of win for both of the teams. But in this matchup, what happens is that when the Gnar is about to go Mega, when he has like 50% towards his Mega, then it's really hard for Jax to jump onto him, because while they're fighting, he's gonna turn into Mega, knock him back, hit him with a boulder, and then smack him down. So the best time for Jax to fight with Gnar is when he just lost his Mega, or when he has very low Gnar bar, because that's when he's actually stronger. Because in the mini form, Gnar is really weak when Jax gets onto him, but in the Mega, he can kind of hold his own.
That makes sense. A lot with the gap closing abilities of that leap strike as well means that he can stick on top of Nato. But right now, just collecting the wave underneath this tower. Nato with those mites to help him out. TP invested by Jackies towards the Mountain Drake. It's only the second dragon of the game, and it looks like neither team really wants to force it straight away. Nisqy is caught out a bit here, knocked back with the seismic shove into the knock-up. He's going to pop the Unbreakable Will, and that's a big ultimate to have down, and he's still getting chased out. Does have the flash, won't burn it yet. Jun's still looking for the chase, but nice knockback onto Carzzy from Jackies. In the end, it's just Nisqy's ultimate burn, but it really means that Vitality are unlikely to be able to play around this dragon.
Yeah, crucial Nisqy. If you look at the minmap here, he was walking in here while he was walking in the spot while his whole team was in here way too early, and that ends up means he gets chunked.
Got caught out. Czajek caught out as well with the quickness. Will have to dash away, but that's the Emperor's Divide down as well. A little bit greedy from Vitality to step forward into that tri-bush when, I mean, Nisqy's on the top side, you're not contesting the dragon anyway.
Yeah, and here we see a little bit of the disconnect between Lyncas and Nisqy. Lyncas was doing his camp, doing his gromp, and meanwhile Nisqy felt, I need to take this bush because dragon is spawning. And they were not on the same page, and it just means Nisqy is getting chunked, and then they lose complete control of the area.
That they do. GIANTX rightfully punish them for losing that control. So far, it's about 1,000 gold lead for GIANTX. One Drake apiece. A bit of a feat of warfare for GX as well, but no one has got those upgraded booties as of yet.
Yeah, and look at now, everyone in GX is opening into the top side of Vitality, and meanwhile they are sending their Gnar bot, looking to hit this tower in peace. So here Taliyah is going to take over the top side, and they're going to try to make something happen here. Lot actually staying back. Czajek will get out of it, but this means now Lot has no TP, Jax has no TP, and Nar's is going to hit the bot tower for free. So they really need to get something here, otherwise that was just a net negative play by GX.
Makes sense. Lot burnt his flash as well to try and make that play happen. Czajek was quick on the trigger to be able to get away. There's Nato hitting the tower with those mites coming in as well. GIANTX investing for the Rift Herald. Vitality could challenge this. Czajek can come in from the top side, does have that Emperor's Divide. Lyncas jumps onto Jun, the follow-up from Nisqy as well, but Isma over the wall. This is a double Impale angle, can't quite land it. Unbreakable Will coming out from Nisqy to get out of the Scorpion Stinger. And in the end, it's just those ultimates burnt.
Lot is here again.
Yeah,
he's dropping around so much bot waves here. Look, now Nato is moving up, and the Herald is so healthy. If Lyncas doesn't die here, that means that Vitality is actually going to be able to contest this.
Right, Lyncas flashes away, Nisqy dies for it. As you say, they're still pushing towards that tier 2. Nato is getting a lot out of this. He was 600 gold behind, and now basically even between those two top laners. Nato, still, that tower's at a 3rd HP already. Probably not going to be able to take it in its entirety because Lot has finally arrived. That is a massive push from the Vitality top.
Yeah, I think Nisqy dying there is no problem at all. I think in general, it's Vitality, you're really happy with this. This dance was so long by GX, and they invested so much into the top side, and they try to get so much hit, but in the end, they only get 1 kill and the Herald. And I think Lot dropped at least 3 waves for that.
Yeah, and Vitality take the gold lead. As you can see, They're about 200 gold ahead. Carzzy and Noah matching up in the mid lane. A bit of a flank happening from Lyncas and Nisqy. That's what we talked about. We wanted to see more, was Lyncas and Nisqy on the same page together. We've seen both sides of it kind of oscillating between good and bad so far.
Definitely. We've seen it when it works, and we've seen it when it definitely doesn't work.
Yeah.
When Nisqy decides to create some space, he's created a lot of space, but I think in general, you can be quite happy because you see that he's always trying to do things. You don't see him really be passive and docile in this game. He's always... Okay, this is one thing I don't like when supports do. This is a pet peeve of mine. When supports show on mid wave.
Yeah, showing on wave, man.
Yeah.
It really annoys me
Because every second a support is in fog of war, that breeds extra pressure onto the side laners. And every time he's showing, it's so easy for a top laner or mid laner to just walk up and get that wave.
And yeah, Noah there was just like, okay, cool, I can just push up this wave easily because I see Nisqy running up towards his Razor Beaks. If Nisqy, all he has to do is take a slightly longer route through the lane to be out of vision that entire time. Sometimes you're thinking, well, the quickest way to get to where I want to go is just a straight line, but as you say, it gives off so much information to the enemy side laners, to the enemy AD carry as well in this position. Nisqy goes in with the combo, can't quite land it, as we see Isma working down towards this bottom side. Now Nato about to go out of Mega, so this is the good time that you talked about, Finn. We'll get the Gnar back, but Isma's here in time. Nato does still have the flash, will jump once. Lot still looking for the chase, no flash for him. Nato with the bounce on Isma's, on the minion's head, is able to escape.
Oh, he's a slippery little rodent. Crucially, Lot did not have his flash because he used it before. I think if he has flash there, that is actually a clean kill onto Naak because the Impale will come out on the Counter-Strike stun. But getting Isma to show there, as we said before, allows Vitality to walk fully into their top side because they know there was no Skarner here. There's no one here that can stop us. And they allow to get a little bit of extra damage on this topside tower and some deep wards in the GX topside jungle.
So we have a minute on the next Cam Drake. Atakan, it is whichever one that symbol means. I'm going to assume Voracious Atakan with how little action there's been. I think it is.
It would be a safe bet
in 30 seconds time. Let's see where the teams decide to set up, because you kind of got this mismatch of timers where the Drake is up on the bottom side, but Atakan's spawning on the top side. Do we just delay the Atakan, because then we can play around the Baron with it as well? That's a really nice timing. There's a few different options for these teams.
Yeah, but they also have the luxury of just sending Lyncas down to solo the Dragon and being able to ultimate up to the Atakan if GX would try to do that. So I think they are kind of in favor here in that way, that they had that global ability. Taliyah can't really do the same. She can't really solo Atakan or Dragon. But yeah, it is going to be the Ruinous actually. It's not going to be the Voracious. It's going to be the one with the little pedals.
Oh, nice. I love some pedals. With 7 kills?
Yeah, it's about like at 14-minute mark. Yeah. So if all the kills were at the 14-minute mark, it kind of makes sense.
True.
It's been a kind of slow game after that. A lot of people are barely
just
dying.
wanting to see some pedals, I guess.
Yeah.
It is Mother's Day in the UK, so it's kind of like giving
that's sweet.
Sets of flowers to everyone. As the Rift Herald is spawned by GIANTX in the top side, they're looking to crack through this tier 1. Mid lane is just an AD carry farm fest. Both of them are very willing just to clear out the waves. And it is Lyncas taking the Drake alongside Carzzy now. So
I'm gonna say I'm very impressed by Naak being able to have so much pressure in this game despite dying 2 times early game. You can see him permanently pushing Lot down, and he's always taking these really good trades. And that bot tower will fall if he gets 1 or 2 more upstakes onto it. So
it's part of that because GIANTX is showing topside. Like, they show that they put the Rift Tower down. Like, I guess my question is, does Lot have to play losing trades because his team is on the top side, or is Lot losing out because Naak is outplaying him in what should be a more 1v1 focus?
I think Naak is outplaying him. I think he's taking better trades, and I think crucially in this matchup, it's all about can the Gnar jump out of the stun? If the stun connects, usually the Jax will win that all in, but if it doesn't, then Gnar will just run him down afterwards when there's no threat of the Counter-Strike. And what you have to do as Jax is you want to hold that stun, so when you jump, you can already reactivate it, because when you press E, there's a slight delay where you actually can't reactivate it, and that's when Gnar can jump out. And I'm not sure if Lot is doing this properly, because usually it's going to be a pretty easy way for the Jax to snowball if he has to lead in this matchup.
Makes a lot of sense. He's now level 14, does still have a slight gold lead. A big gold lead for Noah, 760 his advantage. He's already at 2 items, whereas Carzzy is falling a little short of that. Isma going in, looking for Lyncas, will be stunned up. Nisqy's coming around the side as well. Seismic shove on Lyncas isn't going to do too much, but Nisqy jumps through the unraveled earth, so he's immediately stunned. Flash forward, here's the quickness. Now Nato with a good flank position. Nisqy almost falling already, falls down to 100 HP, killed off by Jackies in the end. Carzzy jumping in onto Jackies, but Carzzy is dead. Now Nato doing so much work here, and Noah arrives a little too late. Naak with another. Lyncas falling lower. Noah having to flash across the wall. Naak's still on the chase, but can't get close enough.
What a monster flank by Naak, being able to get in there and actually doing so much work. Everyone is flashing away from him the moment he shows up. So look at GX. No flash, no flash, no flash. Only Rakan has that flash. Getting so many summoners out. And Vitality just taking so much command in this game.
They are. They're going to be able to take the Rakan as well, as GIANTX do get a mid lane tower for their troubles. The big advantage really is for Czajek. You can see 1.2k ahead of Jackies, and we'll have another look at this play.
Yeah, Isma going way too deep here. When you engage with that E and you don't connect with anything, then it gets really hard to get out, because that's your only mobility ability. So now Nisqy realizes that and just commits, knowing that Naak is on the flank here. Everyone has a flash out. Look, flashing into pits, flashing away from this Gnar. That is either, if you don't do that, he's gonna get a mega ult.
He still gets a good ult, catching out Jackies and Lot, and you see Lot trying to escape, but Naak constantly chasing down. Noah very close to killing off Lyncas, but they play it really well. Czajek and Lyncas just staying in the Baron pit there. Still only about 400 gold between these two teams. Next Drake spawning in 2 minutes time. Both of them playing quite heavily around the bot side right now. You can see GIANTX are looking to try and take this tier 1. Weaver's wall out, still stunned though as Lyncas looks for the chase. Nisqy on the wrong side of the wall can hex flash over, but Carzzy's been caught out and the blast cone knocks it back. No flash for him, the Impale will spell his doom. Czajek TPing in as Nisqy now has a flank of his own. Noah trying to do everything he can, but Naak puts him in his place. Isma short to follow, it's Naak.
And look at this Gnar, he's doing so much for Vitality despite being shut down early. Every team fight, he's the man to look at. What a crazy performance by Naak coming out in his game 1, and he's doing so much to keep this Vitality in these fights.
You see Lot just trying to get something on the side lane, should be able to kill off this tower. Naak is in a bit of a precarious spot, could jump the wall here. Jun is spotted on vision. You can see actually Lyncas on his way across as well. There's the quickness, they're going to try and kill off Naak quickly enough, but they just don't have the damage, and now Jun is a mile away from Lot.
He's kiting.
He's kiting so well, and with the stun from the Pantheon, Naak still stands.
He can't keep getting away with it. Oh my god, Naak, he's just dancing on him, styling on him, and making a montage in this game 1 for Vitality. You have now 2 Drakes and the Atakan. I don't see how they're stopping them.
It's going to be so hard. They really have to find a way to shut down Naak. Czajek as well in a commanding position in the mid lane. 2,000 gold ahead on this Azir, scaling incredibly well. We talked a little bit in draft about how GIANTX's composition actually looks like a little bit easier to execute across the board, but with Naak playing as well as he is, being such a thorn in the sides of GIANTX, it's becoming trickier and trickier for GIANTX to find the win.
Yeah, and it all comes down to that early Herald, do you remember? Where Lot just rotated up and he stayed there on top side for 2 minutes straight, while Naak was just down there by himself, just hitting that tower, getting those plates, getting that gold for himself to really make himself this powerhouse as he is right now. And now you gotta give criticism towards GS, maybe tunneling on these objectives, while Naak saw the bigger picture.
We'll drag it up in 10 seconds time. Is sole point for Vitality if they can take it. Naak building up towards that Mega Gnar as well. Doesn't want that to expire before the fight, really.
You don't want to put your Mega, you don't want to pop it now until you really know you're going to fight. So now it's going to pop. So now you have 15 seconds. Can you get control of this area? Or can GX wait out this Mega Gnar?
Nisqy went in, didn't quite connect onto Isma and Noah, knocked one of them away, didn't get the pulverize off. Where are we in terms of flashes? Carzzy's about to come off cooldown. Naak's the same. Noah's is a mile away, as is Jun's, but Jun has a flank position here and the quickness.
Yeah, this looks good for GX. I think here they're getting pushed off so much and they're so split.
Carzzy caught, the quickness going in as well, only onto 2. There's not much damage here from GIANTX to follow up, and Carzzy's still standing. Isma falling lower, and Carzzy's still standing. Czajek goes in and shuffles them all back into the waiting arms of Vitality. GIANTX saw the engage, but they just didn't have the damage to follow it up. It's a triple for Naak, whack-wacko. Go GIANTX as Vitality get the clean ace.
And he's gnarly with it. The setup doesn't matter when you have hands. Carzzy is holding his ground, getting so much damage out and refusing to die. Look at his wall, trying to separate all the Vitality. Carzzy looks caught, but he keeps out-attacking. He keeps putting damage down, and all the peel comes in, and he manages to carry the team, and then the shuffle comes out, and it's just beautiful by Vitality. Naak cleaning up Jackis here at the end. I thought they would give him the quarter kill, but in the end, he's just a top laner. He doesn't deserve any fame.
Man, Czajek and Naak absolutely slamming it right now, joining Vitality this year, or at least the Vitality main squad at the start of this year, I think both of them showed signs of life in winter, but Vitality were struggling, and now perhaps rejuvenated. It's a one-game sample size. We shouldn't count it for much, but so far in spring, Vitality are looking stronger than they did in winter at least. Now with the Baron buff for the next 2.5 minutes, a 5,000 gold lead as well.
Yeah, Czajek just TP'd from mid tier 2 to mid lane just to defend that wave with the Baron buff. Yeah. He's making sure no movement is wasted and no wave is wasted. Waves shall be pushed, that's their purpose. And here Vitality have the Baron, they're trying to crack this mid tier 2 and the top in tier 2. You see Naak being alone here, and you see them pressuring this, making GX choose. Can we defend this mid tier 2 or can we defend top? And it looks like they can do neither.
Naak is just unstoppable in that top lane. Nisqy almost caught with the Impale, but the Chain of Corruption going back in. You can see Isma goes pop. No longer the tanky Skarner he once was. Naak gets to keep pushing, and now GIANTX is trying to defend in a 4v5.
And Czajek is so cheeky with it. He's playing the mind games with Isma. He walked up and hit the tower, but crucially, he had the soldier behind him, knowing that if Isma went for the flash engage, he could always just dash out to it and get to safety. Really baiting Isma in there. Really well played by Czajek, getting into Isma's head.
Naak spacing as well, jumping away from the counter-strike and from the grand entrance from Jun. Vitality playing 3 lanes as the Naak jumps in. As the Mega Gnar was popped, didn't go for the ultimate, but 2 inhibitors already down from this push, and a minute 30 still left on the Baron for Vitality. This game has exploded.
Yeah, and Lyncas can split push because he has that man drop. He can just play on bot lane, get that wave in while his team is pressuring the base. Look at this, all waves are crashing at the same time. Flawless execution by Vitality with this, trying to crack up this base. Naak, they're on you.
Yeah, at some point GIANTX have to deal with the problem that's Naak. They try to do so, he just walks away. Vitality now have 3 waves pushing in at the same time. Quickness coming out into the grand entrance. Naak still standing through it all and beginning to win out on the 1v3. The Nexus open, Vitality off to a storming start on the back of Naak.
What a great game to watch, actually. And I really enjoyed seeing Nisqy's early game, how he tried to integrate himself onto the map. You can see how it can work. You can also see how he's a little bit rough around the edges, but I really like what we saw. A lot of proactivity from Vitality and a lot of soul in that team.
Yeah, we had some Nest quick and some Nest quickly running it down in that game, but as you can see, in the end, it was Vitality who were able to come out on top. Credit to Czajek as well. We talked a lot about Naak, obviously, because of how far behind he was and how he was able to get back into the game. Czajek went unkilled through that entire game. We'll hear more about him, hopefully, as Sjokz is standing by with Carzzy.
Yes, and okay, Czajek, but I need to talk about your support as well. First game with Nisqy, he went 0-4-11. First win in the series. Of course, you still have some other games, but how did he do?
I think that he was hinting me, to be fair. What? I mean, he left bot when the wave was slow pushing, and then Noah was ahead, and that's like, you know, the stats very important, so.
Is it maybe because he didn't want to make the shock too big? Like he's like, I got it into little, so he feels at home?
No, to be honest, I think he did well for his first game. He wasn't so stressed, and that was just like 1 missed combo, I'd say, so it was pretty good.
Okay, I'll let you go to your team. Of course, the rest of the series is following for Carzzy, and we'll see that in just a bit.
He doesn't like that. Look at him, he's a good boy, but he don't like that.
Maybe we could play some A rounds or something like that. I mean, this is map, right? New towers, new objectives.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Red Bull gives you wings.